Hey guys, this is CSDX, but you can call me Sean, and welcome to another rendition of Appraisal, where I determine that, Look, do I really have to say it?
Yes!
Fine. So you know that guy from years ago, I believe he was with IGN, who infamously coined the phrase, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D? Well, technically he had a Jesus! Could you hear me out before you try to school me, please? Thank you. The term transition means the process or period of changing from one state or condition to another, so the guy was not talking about how rough Sonic has had it while doing 3D platforming, regardless of how mixed the track record for Sonic games has been for the past almost 25 years. As for the transition, basically Sega got cocky with the Genesis's success and took a risk in opting to do a surprise launch of their next console, the Sega Saturn. Problem was they didn't let retailers know ahead of time, giving them little to no room to prepare and resulting in a lot of them refusing to stock the Saturn. Sony trounced them same day at E395 and okay, you know, as a Sega kid, it does hurt knowing the inevitable fate. The Saturn didn't sell well enough, even with an iconic ad campaign with Sega to Sanshiro, though that was only in Japan, and the planned flagship 3D Sonic title in Sonic Extreme ended up being delayed, technically being the first Sonic game to be delayed long before Boom Fire and Ice was. However, it did go through various development troubles in its own right, ranging from the Saturn itself being a headache to develop for, ironically similar to the PS3, I think, to almost the entire dev team suffering from food poisoning all at once. Unlike Sony and the PS3, however, Sega opted to cut their losses, cancel Sonic Extreme, and slowly wind down support for the Saturn and eventually release the Dreamcast, a system that, as much as has been said already, really was ahead of its time. With that system's release in 1998 in Japan came Sonic Adventure, a game that apparently had a lot of bugs at release, as the development for that game wasn't too great either, from what I heard on it. The Dreamcast would debut in America on September 9th, 1999, but sadly, sometime after, the PS2 would soon release and blow it and all other competition out the water, largely because it doubled as a DVD player, and people wanted DVD players. That, I guess, doubled as a game console. I guess. Honestly, I doubt even most people had bought a PS2 and used it for gaming, and hell, same could be said for the PS1 with music playing on CDs, but I'm not trying to start any conspiracy theories here. Apparently the beginning run of 3D Sonic still wasn't out of the woodwork, and while I do disagree about how hard he is on Yuji Naka, I feel like the Golden Bolts video on the troubles of 3D Sonic development from 98 to 2005 or so is a very good watch, and I highly recommend it. Eventually, Sonic Adventure would be remastered for the GameCube before being re-released digitally for PS3, 360, and on PC via Steam. It also had a physical PC release. Are those still a thing? I actually don't know. Unfortunately, when the game was remastered, they used the Japanese version as a base, which had a lot of bugs in its own right, but they didn't even bother fixing any of the bugs in said base at all. And this is also the case with the digital re-releases on PS3, 360, and Steam. But today, instead of playing the 360 version that I got, or the PS3 version that I got, or even the Steam version that I got, I ended up deciding to just play the original version, the Dreamcast version, the way it was meant to be played, on an emulator. That's a surprisingly small amount of knives compared to... Just hear me out, okay? I did this for a number of reasons. First of all, it was what was most accessible to me, especially with how expensive older games can get depending on how sought after it is. Second, I did learn about something involved with RetroArch that not every game has on it yet, called Retro Achievements, an achievement system for RetroArch to give older games a new sort of lease on life for people to enjoy these games. Which is weird, because I had thought that Sony patented that. Oh no, they patented trophies for emulated games. Come on, Microsoft, technically speaking, you wouldn't be violating the patent if you put achievements on OG Xbox games. Even Steam gave Psychonauts achievements. Although I think that was more of a native port, but still. So the game technically begins with you playing as Sonic having to fight a new beast that cops are useless against, which comes as no shock these days, even if they weren't dealing with a water monster, and Sonic saves the day as he trounces a being named Chaos, which Robotnik coins as a god of destruction. Insert Dragon Ball Super reference here, I'm sure that would be a neat crossover to look at. Funnily enough though, this isn't the actual start of the game, at least not chronologically, and thanks to the official Sonic Encyclopedia, I was able to figure out how to properly sort out the cutscenes. Thanks Sega, you saved me a ton of headaches. Alright, that game actually got patched recently, so I don't think it's going to be any big of an issue with headaches. Never mind, they're back. So it turns out things actually start with Knuckles' campaign as Robotnik shows up to literally smash the Master Emerald to pieces, resulting in Chaos becoming free. Weird that Egbert is nowhere to be found in this scene, but whatever. Fun fact, in the older comics, Chaos was stuck in something called the Black Emerald, but they still shattered the Master Emerald anyway because Chaos couldn't even form a body without the power of Emerald, so Robotnik shatters the Master Emerald to allow Chaos to give form. I'm still not gonna forgive Ken Penders for ruining the Archie Sonic comics' selfish little toad. During the ensuing scuffle between Knuckles and Chaos, Chaos' tail somehow goes missing, meaning the forms of Chaos 0, 2, and 4 apparently aren't even the full forms. As for the tail itself, it seems to force Big's friend Froggy to swallow it. Oh, I don't feel safe right now. I need an adult. Wait, I'm 33 years old. What the hell am I saying? Allowing him to grow a tail and become possessed by Chaos. Froggy steals Big's lucky charm, being the Chaos Emerald, and runs off as Big tries to go and get him, while Knuckles goes off to find the missing pieces of the Master Emerald. Meanwhile, Sonic ends up fighting Chaos Zero as mentioned before, and the next day Tails crashes a plane, is picked up by Sonic, and it's shown that Tails is trying to harness the power of the Emeralds to help power his plane. They soon catch wind of what Robotnik is doing.
Whatever you say, Eggman!
You know, I know the actual name for Robotnik is in fact Eggman in Japan, but I wish that at least just stuck with us in America where he stayed as Robotnik, because like, it doesn't feel right. It'd be like Mega Man turning into Rockman in America for the 7th game. Thanks a lot for that, you prick. So Sonic and Tails set out to find the Chaos Emeralds before Robotnik, and they lose them to him 3 times. Once when he yanks it out of nowhere, once by putting them both to sleep. By the way, Knight's Casino pinball level, it's neat, not gonna lie. And the 3rd time, he manages to trick Knuckles for like the 3rd time in this franchise after he fought Chaos 2. I get Knuckles is naive, but he should know better by now not to get tricked by Eggman of all people. Even Boom Knuckles doesn't fall for his crap, and he's actually a meathead. Give us Season 3, damn it! After beating Chaos 4, Sonic and Tails ride the tornado to go after Robotnik in what can only be described as a Panzer Dragoon style level, and it is far better than the remake ever will be. I may have beaten it and adapted to the modern control scheme, but that doesn't make it good. I'd complain more about it, but here's the video instead on the game in the note here. It'll be here once the video's over, don't worry about that, I'm sure it will be anyway, so you can watch me shit on that game too if you want later on. They then get shot down in a spectacular fashion, and also, I love the low polygon look in some of these angles. It sucks that we couldn't get an official Sonic game with that. And Sonic and Tails end up separated, with Sonic encountering Amy, who's currently helping a bird stay away from a seemingly invincible robot named Zero, where Tails tries to find another Chaos Emerald to use for a new plane model. Sonic and Amy then get separated during an excursion to Twinkle Park, where they got in because they were a cute couple and it's free for cute couples. I'm largely a Sonali fan, but sadly she's no longer involved in any official media of Sonic. It hurts every time that I think about it. Elsewhere, Robotnik was working on a series of robots, with the playable one being E-102 codenamed Gamma, and is sent out to find Froggy, who Big finally manages to successfully reclaim, only for Gamma to yoink him right out of Big's hands. Eventually, Amy gets kidnapped by Zero, and despite clearly being able to run away, the bird stays with her, with Sonic trying to follow suit to save her, so he reunites with Tails on the Tornado 2 biplane, and successfully manages to land on the egg carrier, despite the plane's new look not allowing for proper landing gear. The egg carrier then changes shape, and they gotta change it back to get to Egg Boob.
Oh wow! It's changed shape! Did you see that?
I laughed a bit too hard even though it was silent. Why is this bit not talked about enough? It's freaking genius. I love it. Gamma is tasked with getting the bird from Amy and enters the wrong room, learning of what was happening to their older sibling Beta and understandably being traumatized by it. Look at him shake, it's scary. When trying to get the bird from Amy, the bird manages to convince them to let them go by just staring into their soul. This isn't a joke, by the way, you'll find out soon enough. As the ship is back to its original form, the bird is caught by Egg Boil, only for him to just take the Chaos Emerald they were somehow holding, leave the bird be, and then sick Gamma on Sonic and Tails, only for Amy to interrupt and convince Sonic that Gamma isn't like the others, as well as telling Gamma that they're friends and shouldn't hurt each other. Tails, Amy, and Gamma leave the ship, with Sonic confronting Robotnik. However, Big finally caught Froggy at long last, only to encounter Robotnik as Froggy barfs up the Chaos Emerald, and then jumps into Chaos, allowing Froggy's tail to become Chaos's tail. This causes Froggy to come to his senses, so Big is more able to fish him out of Chaos 6. Is more able to fish him out of Chaos 6.
Is this more?
I swear, it was a lot easier to do this than it looks, insultingly easy even. After that, Sonic takes out Chaos 6, but as he gives chase to Eggman, Chaos 6 is somehow restored, leaving Knuckles to pick up the pieces, because I guess they really needed another boss battle for Knuckles. Big escapes safely, Knuckles rebuilds the Master Emerald, and Sonic and Tails take turns in beating up Robotnik. Sonic in Egg Guy's base, and Tails in the city. I have no idea which came first, by the way, and I don't want to care. Despite all of that, Zero is still chasing after Amy, even though the bird no longer has what Robotnik wanted of them in the first place, as Amy opts to help the bird find their family, as explained in the picture they were carrying. During that, Gamma goes rogue and then opts to save his siblings. No, you gotta go back to me. Save his siblings. And by save, I mean fucking murder them, setting the animals inside them free, before realizing they'd have to do the same to their self. They then fight Beta, now a Mark II upgraded version, and defeats them, but not before Beta gets one last hit. It is then revealed in a very bittersweet note that both Beta and Gamma are the bird's family, to the point that Gamma, I think, is the first creation of Robotnik, at least in official media, to realize this and in a sense become self-aware that they are an animal used to power a machine. It's very interesting, really. I don't know if it's been done since, though. In a very sad situation, they self-destruct, freeing the bird from within. This does result in a reunion for the bird family, but not before one last bout between Amy and Zero, as Zero is defeated thanks to an electric barrier revealing its lone weak point. There are also times where a character will be distracted by a light showing them a vision of sorts. This light is actually someone who also was sealed in a Master Emerald with Chaos called Tikal, who was a peace-loving echidna from an ancient civilization of them, who followed her grandmother's route of peace and love, while her father, whose name I could never figure out on how to pronounce his name, so I'll just put it up here and refer to him as father, is more about conquering other lands in the name of helping his people thrive, not long before becoming corrupted by power and ego as he and his men actually slaughter the Chows. I am not kidding, that is literally what it says here in this damn book, before him and his people, save for Tikal, get wiped out by Chaos in a fit of pure unbridled rage. Tikal then opts to seal herself as well as Chaos in the Master Emerald, hoping to keep peace despite Chaos's heart still being filled with nothing but hate and anger on the world. So it makes sense that Chaos goes rogue as well, attacks Eggs Benedict and Knuckles while taking the Chaos Emeralds that Knuckles had on top of the Emerald from the Tornado 2, and turns into his final form, Perfect Chaos. I didn't play the game when it first came out, but I found out about this thing in a strategy guide, and the first time I saw it in that book, chills went down my damn spine. How does it look in-game, though? Okay, good, it's still terrifying. They really screwed up how intimidating it's supposed to look in the DX version. I think that's because of the lighting. Using the positive energy of the Chaos Emeralds as Chaos uses the negative energy, Sonic turns into Super Sonic and fights Perfect Chaos to open your heart by Crush 40, which, honestly, I'm fine with orchestral music and such being used as a final boss theme, but like, I feel this is the best way to pump someone up for a final boss such as this. After beating Perfect Chaos at long last, Chaos's anger is quelled as he can now rest peacefully alongside Tikal and move on to the great beyond. Oddly enough, the encyclopedia does say Chaos has passed on, but he kinda returns in Sonic Battle, albeit for fan service, with, as far as I can remember, no real explanation and is just there as a surprise unlockable character, and in Sonic Forces, but only as a Mirage clone of sorts. The book says everything is canon, and that was a mistake. They even said they decanonized Sonic Chronicles. Why did they say everything is canon in these blurbs? You probably noticed during that spiel that there were 6 or 7 specific characters brought up. That's because there are exactly that amount of campaigns in this game, with 5 of them being unlocked through Sonic's campaign alone, and Super Sonic's being unlocked after beating all 6. The gameplay variety here? Yes, variety. Sonic's is basically what was originally the staple for 3D Sonic games before the boost formula was introduced. You go fast beating enemies, making it to the end of the stage with an added new mechanic in the homing attack, which I believe was made to help make it easier to hit enemies in the 3D plane when it comes to playing as Sonic. Tails' gameplay involves using his flight in a more horizontal manner rather than vertical to use shortcuts to beat Sonic, or in terms of the last level for Tails, Robotnik, in a race. And I feel like at times there's some rubber band AI involved, but looking at the aftermath, it's kinda interesting that Sonic can easily get caught up in the back here, but at the same time, these were very stressful stages for me. Knuckles' gameplay involves looking for pieces of the Master Emerald in randomized locations, using a radar to find them. The weird thing, though? Apparently it's an internal radar from inside him or something. How can I say this? I'm not kidding. That's literally what it's described as in this thing. The game also advertised itself with 3 new playable characters. First up, Amy Rose, now 4 years older despite no actual time passing by. She can't do a spin jump, but makes up for it with her signature Pico Pico hammer. Her stages involve protecting a bird from the aforementioned Zero, as she constantly has to run from the thing, even after Robotnik eventually gets what he wants from said bird. Just make it to the stage, grab the balloon to escape, boom, you're done. Second in terms of unlock, and not who I play as next, E102 codenamed Gamma. A robot designed by Robotnik that eventually goes rogue and, yeah, you know what? You heard already with the story. I'm not going to repeat myself, and I'm going to ignore all comments about it. I can't see the haters. I ripped my eyes out anyway. Also, there allegedly may be some fluid in my ears, so I can't really hear that well either. Their stages are also timed in an odd way where the clock goes down, usually from 3 minutes, so you have to shoot enemies and such with the gun to regain time, racking up combos to get bonus seconds. It is so freaking satisfying to get such a massive combo as them. And last but possibly least, depending on who you ask, is a character that a lot of people kinda like but don't like in terms of gameplay, Big the Cat. But as for his gameplay, it involves fishing. Okay, in actuality, it really is that Big has to go fishing for his pet slash best friend Froggy the Frog, but the game doesn't directly specify anything about having to do anything specific. In fact, you either have to read the manual that came with the game or go through the instruction tab before starting his campaign, and then the game outright tells you that once Froggy bites the lure, you press and hold down on the control stick, and I don't mean like clicking like L3 or whatever, I mean use the control stick, pushing down like this in order to get an automatic hit. Except the game randomly calls Froggy to just let go for no reason a couple times, and despite clearly using the control stick properly, the game decides I didn't actually get a hit on Froggy. Sure, game, tell me to do the thing, and then decide at random that I didn't do the thing. So, in conclusion, Sonic Adventure. It's not that bad, honestly. I mean, there are aspects where it aged pretty roughly, but like, it's not bad at all, even with all the issues that I had. But I find it hard to recommend either the Dreamcast version or the DX version, which by the way was known as the Director's Cut version, despite the fact that the Director's Cut version had a completely different director running the development. So my best suggestion? Modding. See, there exists a mod program called Better SADX, and while I didn't have that specifically set up on my Steam Deck, if I recall correctly, I installed the mod said program would set up, ranging from a ton of bug fixes to turning the visuals back into the pleasing Dreamcast aesthetic, to even including old DLC in it. Yes, the Dreamcast technically started live service games kinda, and DLC in a way. Some of them that I don't think will ever again see the light of day, even with mods, as some range from finding stuff involving the head of Sega at the time to winning an AT&T subscription. What? Regardless of that, I definitely get the Steam version and then set up this program to mod it up. It is arguably the best way to play the game, and it should run just fine on older hardware too, just in case you're worried about getting a better PC. So yeah, the game's alright. Now, can we all please be civil about this now that I've had my say? What do you think about Aaron of the Game Grumps? Fuck